Hi, this is Chloe, and we are going to look at the PPT that I made for writing a rhetorical analysis essay. So, first of all, we have to look at what is a rhetorical essay first. And the definition I have given here is a rhetorical analysis essay is an essay that breaks a work into parts and then explains how the words work together to create a certain effect, whether to persuade, entertain, or inform. So in the rhetorical analysis essay, we will be conducting the analysis based on the different rhetorical devices that writers or speakers have used in their pieces. And so let's look at the first thing that we have in the rhetorical analysis essay. The first one is, what did speakers and writers use? And what did they use? They use rhetorical devices. There are some examples I have given here. It's like allusions, parallelism, repetitions, ethos, logos, pathos, analogy, anaphora, and etc. So there are a lot of devices that writers may use in their pieces to make their piece more perfect. And the second one is, why did writers and speakers use those devices? So in this part, we will be looking at what causes writers to say that, and what's writers' intent, what's the purpose of those claims, and what is writers' exigence and motivations. It's basically talking about why did author wrote this, or why did they use the device, what's their purpose. So we'll be looking at this. And the last one is, what is the impact on the audiences? So no matter writers to write a piece or speaker to deliver their speech, there will be readers and audiences to react with them. So we have to identify how did the audience react for the arguments, and how did the authors influence the audiences. So it's just like a normal conversation. When we say something, we want to see the reaction from others. So this is also will be conducted in the rhetorical analysis essay. And the overview of a rhetorical analysis essay. The essay will be composed of three main parts. The first one is introduction, second one is body paragraphs, and the third one is conclusion. And let's see the example that I have put here. And this is a speech that is delivered by Lou Gehrig, is a baseball player. And so let's read. The speech provided is well-known farewell speech delivered by Lou Gehrig at Yankee Stadium. The speech came just after Gehrig had been diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. I don't know how to pronounce this, commonly known as Lou Gehrig disease. Read the speech below and write a rhetorical analysis essay and analyzing the rhetorical devices Lou Gehrig has used throughout his farewell speech. And I have put a link here, is the full text of the speech. So if you want to read, you can click and read the full speech. And so let's get back to the prompt. The prompt is it's just like a question that has given us when we are solving a math problem. So the instruction has told us here to read a speech and write a rhetorical analysis essay and analyzing the rhetorical devices. So we have to find the rhetorical devices that Lou Gehrig has used in his speech. So we have mentioned before that there are three main parts of the rhetorical analysis essay, and the first one is introduction. So the introductory paragraph to analysis essay is usually brief and neat. However, it must contain some essential information. So our introduction must be clear and short so that people don't get tired of it and they don't want to read anymore. So what we have to do is start with the rhetorical situation, and that's when we use space strategy. So we start with the rhetorical situation in our introduction and end with thesis. So let's look at the space. What is the space? So S means speaker, the person who delivered the speech or the person who wrote the piece, and the purpose. So why they wrote this and what's their motivation? No, what's their goal or their aims they want to achieve. And A represents audiences. Who are the people listening to the speech, or who might be the person that speaker wants to talk to. And C context, basically what speaker speaks and what writers wrote. And the last one is exigence. Is basically the motivation is like what causes speaker to say this or what causes the writer to write this. So we want to know um, the reason behind everything they say. And so let's look at the example. And this is introduction paragraph. And the first one I highlighted here is I have wrote here this statement includes speaker's first and last name, speaker's credentials, and type of text. And this sentence has simply clarified the rhetorical situation by going through space. So we can look at here the speaker's name is Lou Gehrig, and his credential is the one of the best baseball players in America. And the type of text we're talking about is his farewell speech. And I also have wrote space here. Let's review. The speaker is Lou Gehrig, and purpose is um, is to encourage others. The numerous so the I have mentioned that the speech had been encouraged and remembered by numerous baseball players. So we know that the purpose by reading through the topic sentence, we know that one of the purpose that Lou Gehrig wants to achieve might be to encourage more people and to give them the best memory he can left to them. And the audiences is the baseball players and everyone who listened to his speech, whether it's in person or many years later. So, and the context is we'll talk about this later. And so the context is we have mentioned is what speaker says, and exigence. Well, um, exigence might be his diseases or um, or his hope, I should say, toward those people might think he's hopeless. So even though I haven't give best explanation here for the space analysis, but I think you can do well. And if you read through the speech, and I think it's easy for you to analysis the space organization. So I'm not doing good on this, but I think and I encourage you um, to explore yourself and learn more on this. So the next section I have highlighted is Let's read. In his farewell speech, Lugaric used rhetorical devices such as irony, appeal to ethos, and device of repetition. These devices had helped him to achieve his aim of showing the world how strong and fearless a person can be in front of the adversity. Expressing his thanks to his fans, family, teammates, and everyone who cares for him, and providing that his life was not shadowed by his ALS disease. So the rest of my paragraph has given basically on the space. So these two sentences have effectively tied up all the rhetorical devices that will be mentioned in the essay with the main idea. It draws readers' attention to the main point of the whole rhetorical analysis essay. So we can see here I have mentioned the three rhetorical devices that I will be talking about in the whole essay. They are irony, appeal to ethos, and device to reputation. And I say that this device had helped him to achieve his aim, and his aim is show the world how strong and fearless a person can be in front of the adversity. And another purpose of his speech is express his thanks to his fans, family, teammates, and everyone who cares for him. And the last one is proving that his life was not shadowed by the disease. So um, we have go over that introduction paragraph. Doesn't need to be too long. So you just mention the main points and the rhetorical devices that you will be analyzing in the remaining of the essay. So next, our second section is the body paragraph. So body paragraph is where the analyzer identifies the various rhetorical strategies or devices that speakers or writers used for the piece. So here I have pulled up a breakdown of a complete body paragraph. And the first part is topic sentence that identifies which section of the text you are discussing and main idea of that section. So when we start the one body paragraph, we might say the speaker start off or the speaker says in the middle of his speech. So we identify the section of the text and the main idea of the section. What did speaker talk about in that section? So, and the second part is conveys writer support for the main idea by identifying and providing a specific example for one rhetorical strategy used by the writer. So, here we have to provide an evidence so we can prove that our claim is right. So we put up specific quote from the speech or the piece. We prove to the readers that this section is corresponding to what we said in the previous topic sentence. And the third part is explains how the rhetorical strategy discussed in the previous sentences help the writers to achieve his purpose. So here is actually one of the main parts of the body paragraph. So we want to know how did, let's say, irony or appeal to ethos or repetition help readers um, to deliver his speech, or how did this help him? And the last part we will be looking at is identify the effect of the writer's use of the rhetorical strategies on the audience. So here we want to move our attention to the audience. We want to know that how did speaker or writer influence the audiences. And the first body paragraph we are going to look at here, the first sentence of the paragraph points out the main rhetorical device that particular paragraph will be analyzing on. So here I have said, Lugaric had used the irony to vividly contrast his positive attitude with his dreadful disease after starting the section with